welcome to the Experience Pros Radio Show live from Cancun, Mexico, day 3.
Day 3, and we are having such a great time here in Mexico. And we're under a little bit of cover where you may find some of the birds and livestock coming in and being a part of our show, but in large part because the waves out there are huge.
They're wicked. What would we say? They're gnarly or something. What would you say in like surfer language?
Gnarly works.
Was it like hang 10 or?
I don't know. Nobody's hanging 10 today.
Right. It looks pretty wild out there, and but pretty exciting, fun to watch. But we are excited to be with you this morning. For those of you who have been tuning in for the last couple of days, you know my little bout with trying to do the scuba diving in the swimming pool. And I got a little wigged out.
You took lessons, right?
I took a lesson. So on day 1, they have this little, where you go in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And you get to wear the snorkel tank and have the little breather thing. And you go down. And so my husband, Jay, we've never done this before. We've never scuba, snorkeled a little bit. And Jay's big into the snorkeling.
Sure.
He loves being out on the ocean. He sails. He does all this. But we've never actually scuba. And so... he goes seamlessly, like he's done it all his life.
Right.
She's like, this is what you do. He's like, got it. And off he went. So then it was my turn.
Yep.
And go down under the water.
Now, how deep was this pool?
Like 4 feet deep.
Okay.
4 feet
all
deep.
right. So in the event of emergency, you could have stood
you
up.
just stand up. And I did.
All right.
Many times. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I think my goggles are filling up with water. She's like, well, this is how you clear it. Yeah, okay. So go back down. I'm down there. I'm kind of starting to breathe. That's good. I got to see what it was like. Sampled that.
Had your sample?
Had my sample.
Yeah.
Ready to go back.
All right.
And
Will you be ordering it from Starbucks?
She was
Probably not.
I was not. I would not.
All right.
She was super sweet. Her name was Vicky, and she walked me through it, held my hand, brought me back the rest of the way through the pool. Of course, Jace's Angel, you did about half as much as I did. Like, you're lucky I did anything at all.
Right.
I just kind of decided that being under the water, not for me. So a couple days go by. Was it the next day or
The very next day.
Was it the very next day?
Yeah.
I've lost complete track of time.
That's how you know it's working.
So overnight, of course, I've told a couple people, an overnight, and even Vicky, she was saying how, Angel, it's all in your head. Because there's nothing bad happening.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with any of this. It's just all in your head. And so isn't that as entrepreneurs, the blockage that's getting us to where we want to be is all up here in our head. We've decided we can't do it, or we don't have the resources, or we've never done this before, and we're scared to see what's on the other side. So
you went back into the pool.
I went back into the pool.
With the tank, the respirator, the equipment, all of it for round 2.
For round 2. And this time she's describing it to me. It's a little bit more familiar because I'd done it before a little bit for like my little sample.
Right.
And I was able to go and do the entire little round all in the pool. And I came up and I was like, woohoo, I did it, yay, high five. Mini wave in celebration of Angel. and I overcame my fear and I'm good.
Right.
And she's like, okay, so the next step, Angel.
The next step.
I'm like, no, this was the step.
I sampled. I came back for the crumbs.
I did. I'm good. She says, I think you can do it. She's very encouraging. Good form. You didn't have any problems this time. You understood the instructions and you were able to do it. She's like, you are ready for the ocean. And
for the ocean.
For the ocean. And kind of all caught up in the adrenaline, right? The excitement. We have these small wins. And it's when we have these small wins that we're ready to take the next step. And so again, as an entrepreneur, having and celebrating and recognizing these baby steps. It's not this big swinging pendulum that you go from 0 to 100. It's baby steps along the way, and putting in small goals and small wins and celebrations and victories encourages you and catapults you to say, you know what? I'm going to take that next step that's taking me out of my comfort zone. No, I've never done it before.
Right.
Maybe I don't have, I don't really know what the outcome is going to be. But also I surround myself. I choose the right group of people to hang out with. I hang out with people that have done it, right? I'm only going to take advice from somebody who's done it, who's been there. We don't take financial advice from somebody we're not willing to trade bank accounts with. Right? I'm taking advice on this swimming thing and this diving thing from somebody who does it.
The dive master.
The dive master every day. Not my cousin, not my brother-in-law, not somebody who's not doing it, but somebody who does it every day. That's who we should take advice from. That's the people we should associate with and put ourselves around. So, in my moment of enthusiasm.
Weakness? Sorry. No.
Actually, it was completely.
Okay,
it was completely weakness.
So you had a few minutes underneath the water. You came up, woohoo! A celebration of you. And then
I signed up. I signed up for the Discovery dive. So you have to take a little lesson and learn the skills. You sit in a classroom and you listen to what's all happening to your body and what you need to do, and then we go back in the pool.
In the pool.
But this time, I got to put on a wetsuit. And got a little more gear, and so I felt all empowered, right? I'm wearing the right clothes. I'm wearing the right armor. I've equipped myself, and it's exciting. And, when you kind of step up your game a little bit and you start to wear nicer clothes, you're taking care of, if you've ever gone to a salon and gotten your hair all done, you know what that's like, right? Kind of stepping up your game, and you just feel like, all right, I got this. Do you remember the scene? Do you remember the scene in Rain Man?
Definitely. I remember the scene. Definitely remember the scene in Rain
Man. When is it Ray took Dustin Hoffman, his brother, to get dressed? They bought new suits. Do you remember that? And they got fitted and tailored for these new suits.
They looked $1 million.
Right, and then there's the scene of them coming down the escalator, So you wear the part, you wear the uniform, you put the clothes on, and you get to dress the part. So I go and I do my little Discovery dive. I got to take my little respirator or whatever that thing is out of my mouth, under the water, and put it back in. I have to drop it as if I lost it and find it and put it back in all under the water.
You suited up for the role you were going to play.
I did. It was pretty exciting. So,
and that was still in the pool, yeah?
I was still in the pool.
All right.
I'm being fearless, right?
4 feet deep. That's good. That's really good. I'm not making fun.
You should.
I'm adding color.
You should totally make fun.
No. I'm adding color.
I was such a baby. I was such a baby about this whole thing. And so we get out. We get all suited up. We're going to go out on the boat. And she says, so, there's a, couple ways you can get off the boat and into the water. And she said, one is James Bond style, where you sit on the edge of the boat and you flip yourself backwards. Jay, my husband, instantly, I'm in. I want to do that. Yeah, James Bond. Right. And I'm standing there going.
Did you wear a tux? No.
Underneath his wetsuit, yeah.
Of course.
Right, yeah. And I'm like, well, okay, so what's the other way? And she said, well, you either do it in 1 second or 3 seconds. And 1 second is you fall yourself back and you just let yourself pop right back up. Or you fall back and you flail all around and eventually you pop yourself back up.
1 second sounds better.
1 second sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay, got this. So go out on the boat.
You actually geared up, had your tank, had your respirator, all of it, and you went on the boat with the intent to go scuba diving.
James Bond style.
Wow. Folks, this is amazing, this story.
I'm 47 years old and I'm afraid of the water.
You know what? That's a story of a lot of people out there. And it's all right. I mean, historically, you've always had a love-hate with the water, yeah?
I love to look at it. Right. I love to be around it. But in it, underneath it, I'm not a strong swimmer. The waves, tossing me around.
There you go.
There's stuff under there that I'm pretty sure I don't want to interact with.
It stings you.
It's dark. I have been stung by jellyfish on multiple occasions where no jellyfish have been in the area, but they find Angel. Ching! Have not yet had to have it resolved by somebody peeing on me, though, if you're familiar with that Friends reference. So,
what?
You can look it up on Friends. Google the stung by jellyfish episode. So, hasn't had to happen yet. Anyways, so I'm trying to be brave. Stepping out of my comfort zone, doing something I've never done before.
Right.
I don't really know why. I just know that I want to do this, and I'm gonna do this. So I'm the last person out of the boat, and I'm anxious, and so I'm breathing very shallow, right?
Probably not good for scuba.
Right. And so the man on the boat, that's staying on the boat, he's like, got my face, and he's like, and how often are we told to just, when we're anxious and we're all kind of built up and we're worried about something, like just slow our breath down. Yeah. So I've been taking yoga, working about my breath.
I listen to Faith Young and Tim McGraw.
Right. Just breathe, right? So I'm breathing. So, put my hand on my face so that my stuff doesn't fall off. And he pushes me back into the pool.
The nice man?
The nice man.
The nice man flipped you into the water?
Off you go.
James Bond style.
James Bond style.
did you
right back up.
Did you? Here's the question of the day. And everybody who's watching, thank you so much for watching. Remember, we're going to give something away here at the end, so stick around. Did you do the 1 second, the 3 second, or did you make up your own seconds?
I probably made up my own seconds.
If somebody flipped me off the boat, I would probably be going,
I didn't do a whole lot of flailing.
Yeah.
I think I was just shocked.
Sure.
Right? That I just got flipped into the water. Okay. But then I popped up. That was good. Swim over to my little pals, my little swim buddies. Okay, so now we're going to go down under the water.
Right.
And I start to go down under the water, and go down, and I see how far, and you can see under there, and I pop right back up.
Yeah, it goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why in my head I kind of thought it would be like sand. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, jumped in. I won't bore you with all the details, but I did chicken out. I chickened out for about 5 tries, going down and coming back up, going down. But my little instructor was super patient with me, very encouraging, and helped me to calm down and realize, because we're in the ocean and we're being like beaten up, and she's like, Angel, once you get down under the waves and you get past this first hurdle, it's going to be fine. Same with us in whatever's our blockage, right? If we can just get through this next hurdle, with building your business, that first 1 to 3 years. Oh my gosh.
It's very easy to draw the picture of waves crashing and things buffeting, and you're not seeing the success that you want, and your mask fills with water, and you get scared.
Right? You get scared. You get salt water in your mouth.
We see so many entrepreneurs who start their business with a head full of steam. I've got an idea and I'm going to do this thing. And then they realize that the thing that they want to do is only one element of all the things that are necessary in business. You got to have your gear. You got to have all the equipment in all the right places. You got to dress the part. You got to make sure everything's in place. And then when you get out there, you realize it's a competitive world, and it beats you and it knocks you and it blows you away. But you had an instructor, someone who cared about you, and you had, you didn't give up. You didn't give up. Tell us the end of the story.
I dove 40 feet, and I was under the water for 45 minutes.
I love this.
Yeah, and it wasn't so bad. Once I got down, and it was all good, but it was like all in my head. And I know that in business, in anything. So let's be fearless, and decide whatever it is you have something in mind, a goal that you want to achieve. It might be a lifestyle goal.
Right.
It might be something in your business. It might be financial. It might be something about health and wellness. I've always wanted to lose these 20 pounds, or I've always wanted to live a healthier lifestyle, or I've always wanted to have my office in this particular place. So let's step into that. But draw the line in the sand and say, whatever it is, whatever the head trash is, the excuses, the fear, the unknown, let's be fearless. And I can't believe how chicken I was. I knew I wasn't crazy about the water, but until I'd really stepped myself into that space, I didn't know. And so I was a little embarrassed about the whole thing, because I was just such a baby. I don't want to do this.
And yet those of us who know you and those of us who love you, who know what you had to overcome in order to get to the place where you are, we're the ones who are cheerleading for you, saying, oh my gosh, you just did something amazing. You faced a fear, you pushed through the hard time, you looked at all the circumstances, situation, and said, I will not quit. And that makes you the hero of everyone who loves you. And I think that's the point for today's show. We really want to encourage you to ask yourself, what is your, where's your comfort zone? Draw a line in the sand, in the proverbial sand, if you will, and say, this is my comfort zone. This is what I do every day, and I feel comfortable, and I'm in that. And then
I live there.
Look into the depths. And I'm going up, but look below the comfort zone for you, if you will, and find out, how deep is the water? What do you need? What are the tools? What are the equipment? And who are the right people to not just surround you, but to gently encourage you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're out there for you. And we've got a great network right here with Experience Pros. Of course, we've got an incredible group of professionals that are willing and ready to be your resource, to be your lifeline, to be your breathing tube, to be that resource for you, to push you and to encourage you. If that's exciting to you, make sure you check it out and sign up for the free 30-day trial at experiencepros.com. Invite your friends to check it out as well. Let's be fearless. Let's move through this and be the motivators for each other. So often we think we're in this all by ourselves, and we get in our own space, and when we get into that alone space, it's kind of going back into the dark spaces in our heads, which reminds us we've never done this, or reminds us of the different failures we've had or the different challenges we've had in our lifetime. But when you are around a group of people that are growing, that are motivated, that are going places, they're not going to sit back and listen to your excuses. And they're going to tell you it's okay that you feel that way, but now let's take the step anyways.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel the fear, to be afraid, to be unsure, but we're going to do it anyways. We're going to step into our greatness and be fearless. If that's exciting and motivating to you, type in the comments that this is hitting you right where you are this morning.
Absolutely. Now, this is the part of the program we're going to, while you're typing your comments, we're going to remind you that courtesy of our friends over at Nyland's Collision Center, that's nylandscollision.com, they have generously provided a gift for today. It is a Dreams Cancun or Dreams Puerto Aventuras baseball cap. And so we're going to give one of those away in a little bit. So you want to stay tuned. And Susan, thank you so much for your feedback. We're glad that this is hitting you right where it needs to. Here in Mexico, we come once a year and we decompress, right? But we also get inspired and we get motivated and we look at nature like the waves that are pounding today, right? That caused a relocation of our set here for this morning, but nothing bad happened, right? It was just you adapt to that, and we get inspired to bring these kinds of messages to you. Because, Angel, year after year after year, we see people succeed in their business because they don't quit, they face their fears, they talk about it, they surround themselves with people who care about them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about being fearless. Who one of our guests today want to talk about being fearless and stepping out of your comfort zone? Look, they're all pointing to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to talk about stepping out of your comfort zone?
Well, I was just going to make the comment that Eric, he didn't share the whole part of the story, which is Angel was talking earlier about how she had her armor on and, she was ready to go.
Yeah.
And I talked to Vicki afterwards, and she said the first time she ever saw anyone do scuba diving.
Make sure you speak loud enough so everybody can hear the punchline.
Okay, so the punchline's coming. Yeah. So the first time she had ever seen anyone do scuba diving in a pink wetsuit with sequins.
Yeah.
With sequins. Yeah. So when Angel's talking about her armor, that
I
was
just assume that goes without saying. Everybody knows Angel wears pink with sequins, whether it's a wetsuit or a ball gown.
Right, it's got to be pretty.
All right, introduce yourself, my friend.
So Phil Cernanek on the City Council in Littleton, a friend of Angel and Eric's, and someone who tries to do good for folks across the region. And so in addition to the city council, I get to serve on a couple of state committees, a couple of national committees, as well as chairing the Regional Advisory Committee on Aging for the 8 counties in the Denver metro region.
Go ahead.
What was the first committee, the first thing that, because you're now on all of these committees, you've been the mayor, you've run for election, but what was the impetus, like what was the first thing that got you started on this path that you jumped into?
Oh, long time ago. Okay, I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
And I had run for an officer in my local service club.
Oh, all right.
And I didn't.
In high school.
Yes, in high school,
and
I didn't win. You know, you've heard all those stories about the
sure.
folks never winning an election, and so the advisor for the club said, "Hey, Phil, you're not serving in the local club. Why don't you just skip by that and go for the regional position?" And it was across 14 high schools. And it was a meeting that everyone was together. And it wasn't just students from the other high schools. There was also adults in the room. And it was that first campaign speech that you have to give.
Yeah.
And this is like the all or nothing kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
And so I'm in front of a bunch of students, adults, and had never really done public speaking before. And I told my advisor I was a little nervous, and he said, well, you just go up, you grab the podium like you own it, and you just burst it out. And
So Phil, you were a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Public speaking is the second most frightening thing to people, right?
Right.
And you faced your fears, yeah?
Well, I faced my fears, so I'm up there, and I grab a hold of the podium, but it's one of those mobile podiums that just sits on top of the desktop.
Oh.
And so I'm there, and the thing starts to rattle, and I get a little,
Well, flustered, probably, right?
Of course, yes. And as I went through it, I skipped about a third of my points, but it's one of those things where sometimes when you make a mistake, there's ways to adjust for that. And so some of my classmates, all the 14 schools separated, and they had a chance to caucus on who they were going to vote for. And there were 3 other guys, and they were like eloquent and that. But we had some platform positions that we wanted to have and some activities that we wanted to have across the region. And so they went and they infiltrated the caucuses and shared all the other things that Phil didn't mention. So
so you had your people on the ground.
Became
right?
top of the minds.
And your platform was solid.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely solid. And so it ended up being a great year. I won the election. From there, I became the officer for the District of Ohio, and so I've been a governor. So that was, so that's one of the things.
I didn't know that, Governor.
But it was interesting, and we had some moments. That year, we hosted the International Convention in Cleveland, and Cleveland's a union town. That. So 2 days before, 3,500 young men are coming from 7 different countries to Cleveland, Ohio. Public transportation goes on strike.
Oh, no.
And so we caucused together, and what we ended up doing is we imposed on some of the local high schools, had some buses, and my 2 sisters went to an all-girls school, and they kind of came out in mass with these young ladies that were providing direction to young men around Cleveland. And with the school buses and that, we were able to shuttle folks from the airport, Cleveland.
Still working with the high schools.
Oh, that was, yes. It was,
That's awesome.
But, so I had an opportunity to introduce Julian Bond at the convention. He was the speaker at that point in time, and Carl Stokes was the mayor of downtown Cleveland, and so we had a super time with 3,500 young men being directed by young women, and I think they appreciated that.
They appreciated that.
doubt.
Very nice. Okay, so you were young, right? And I think that when we're younger, if we don't have as much baggage in our heads to get through, they're still a little scared, and public speaking being the biggest one. Have you ever done something outside of your comfort zone and it killed you, Phil?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I try, on that. Well, and yesterday, Kathy, my wife, and I went to a local water park, and the big element of the water park is it had a lazy river and a bunch of fish locations. it had some protection elements in that it had kind of a net so that
Predators?
well,
Oh.
particularly sharks.
Sharks?
You know, there were other things that were in the water, but it was scubaing. And I'm, you know, I understand that you went through your first lesson in how to breathe in with your regulator, and then you went back for the second day and you found out how to breathe out with your regulator so that indeed you could do that dive. I've had some of that same challenge with just the simple snorkeling,
Right.
and it's like I breathe in,
And then there's water in your snorkel. I always get water in my snorkel.
and I don't know how it gets there. I don't know how it
Yeah.
gets there, but you know, when I breathe it in, it's like cough, cough, and then I just swallow the salt water.
Yes.
And I will tell you that I think the human body isn't meant to take in that amount of salt.
I agree with you.
And I was watching the ocean behind you here, and it's just gorgeous this morning, and it has this multiple colors of jade that are there, and then the foaming waves coming in. Well, it's one of those colors of jade is about the color I had yesterday. So, but went through it and had a chance to swim with some stingrays, and Kathy had a chance to see a whole school of parrotfish, which I guess is really pretty exciting yesterday. So,
I love
very
that.
exciting. Very exciting.
Well, you stepped out of your comfort zone. You've always succeeded. It has never killed you, which is
I wouldn't say always succeeded, Eric. That's probably
Okay.
putting too
All
high
right.
too high a standard.
you know what? But if we don't learn by our failures,
Yes.
what propels us to the next thing?
Well, and that's always the challenge that sometimes comes there. If something's really important to you, in my experience, and as you mentioned earlier, it's finding those other folks that care that you can go to for advice. You don't have to make all the same mistakes that everyone else has made.
But you can find a way.
You can learn from that,
Yeah.
and you have a chance to collaborate in that. And many entrepreneurs I know are you know, I know they feel absolutely at the point where everything's on their shoulders. But that really isn't the reality. There's a lot of other folks out there that are willing to help. You know, you said you're picking up what I'm putting down,
Right.
And there's a lot of other aspects where you work with others in what you're doing. Kathy and I are financial advisors by day, but we're not experts in all of the things. We work with attorneys and accountants to be in that position to have that full complement that clients are going to require. But we're the ones that are pressured, whether you're talking about new DOL rules, Department of Labor, Department of Labor rules on what it takes to be, and we've always acted in our clients' interests and taking that primary. And we're with a firm that has essentially had financial planning as a hallmark of an organization. And it's kind of funny, as I've spent some time in financial services and consulting efforts. The firm we're with, founded in 1936, and I actually looked at acquiring the firm for a holding company I was with in the 80s before I joined the firm in the early 2000s.
Wow.
So it's one of those where you learn a little bit of depth that's there, and you find something that's meaningful to you, and that you maybe at times have those hesitation moments. You know, is what I'm putting down other folks going to pick up?
Yep.
But when you have some of that success, but yeah, I had an interesting first week as a financial advisor.
I bet.
So someone in their 70s came in and laid down on the table a recording. It said, would it be okay if I recorded our conversation? And knowing someone's in a protected class and kind of putting that element there, he said, well, yeah, my wife wanted to join us, but she couldn't, so she wanted to kind of hear what it was like. And I said, fine. Later, my manager at the time, he said, what? But I went through that. Third day in, I had a couple that I had known, and I had known the woman in the couple for a number of years, and they had sang in the choir with her, and introduced themselves. And I had met her husband before, but one of the parts of the conversations is, what do you do?
Right.
Okay, well, he's like an auditor for the state insurance department. And so that kind of put a little edge on the conversation we were about to have. So you go through those things and you realize, hey, people are people. And when you have an honest conversation with folks, and a lot of times folks' values end up being tied up in how they think about money, how they treat money.
Sure.
You know, when you have a spouse that goes out and shops when they're not feeling well, okay, that isn't necessarily they're looking to be financially irresponsible. It's just their coping mechanism.
Right.
And so
Right.
a lot of values come out in that position where you're sitting there and you're having those conversations. And it's been wonderful on that front because we've had an opportunity to work with folks, and sometimes as we're talking with folks and what they value, they don't always express that all the time. And I've had couples, sometimes it's he and sometimes it's she, that will be in tears.
Yeah.
Because they will hear things that they might not have heard since the day they got married.
Mm.
And from their spouse.
Sure.
And things that they value. So it's one of those things where it's exciting, and we know we're helping folks.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Do you want to give any contact information or any?
Oh, find me on the City of Littleton website, so littletongov.org.
There you go.
I'm the only Phil on the City Council, so
All right.
that's the place to go, and my cell phone is listed there as well.
Very
Fabulous.
nice. Phil
All
Fanatic, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Phil.
Enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All right. So I know you want to give away something too.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do that.
All right, so here's what we got. There are a couple of people watching right now, and what we're going to do, we've been talking about stepping out of your comfort zone and making sure that you have, you identify whatever it is your fear, your obstacle may be, and then you push through, right? You surround yourself with the right people and so on. So the first person to put any fear or obstacle that you wish to push through on our comments will win the ball cap for the Dreams Puerto Aventuras.
Although she'll
here.
say it more beautifully
Yes,
in
I
just
know.
a minute.
I trip over it every time. But just go ahead and let us know, what is the obstacle that you want to overcome, and
You win the hat from Nyland's Collision Center. Okay, so beautiful customer service. We've been talking about it all week, and what makes customer service and what makes the experience so wonderful here at the Dreams Resorts is the people. And so we have another one of the fabulous staff from this beautiful resort with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. I am Tarim. I am
Tarim,
the
very nice
sales
to meet you.
director for the hotel.
Very nice.
So
So this,
welcome.
thank
We're very
you.
glad to have you here.
we are glad to
We are
be
really
here.
excited that you're being here all
So,
these days.
Tareen, what does your job include? What all do you oversee?
Well, I see sales, which I would have to say is kind of complicated to explain because people sometimes doesn't understand really what does a sales department in the hotel
Yeah.
does. So what we do, we are in charge of marketing. We are in charge of, well, in this case for resorts, we are in charge of weddings. We are in charge of selling all about groups and conventions.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important part, I say that the best part, is that all this commercial strategy from the hotel is what we do. To say it shortly, we bring the customers to the hotel.
Okay.
So we send we have all the contracts and all the contacts with tour operators, with travel agencies, with the online travel agencies. So all the business
Around
that
the
comes
world.
around the world.
Yes.
Actually, around the world. I mean, we have representatives for the company. You know that we are part of AM Resorts. We are a brand of AM Resorts. So we have representatives pretty much around the world.
Sure.
Love it. So what's your favorite part, Taryn, of the job?
People.
The people?
I would always say the people.
Yeah?
That's the best part. All the people, because I've been around a while. I've been living maybe 4 or 5 different cities around Mexico, and it's always a new experience. No, there is a lot to learn from the people that we work with, and from the people that comes like you to visit us, and from the people that I have to negotiate and to go and be in touch for the hotel. To bring them.
Sure.
So that would be my favorite part always.
How did you elevate into this position? What did you do before?
Well, I've been on sales direction for a couple of years now, more than a couple, I would say, much more. But the first time I started as the first time I started like a receptionist, but it was on business hotels. I spent like more than 10 years on business hotels. always in sales area.
Okay.
So I started as a receptionist on the business center at the hotel. Then I went to manage what they say corporate programs, the loyalty programs at hotel level. Then I went to like sales assistant manager, sales manager, and then I had my
So one of my favorite parts of the resorts is watching the weddings, watching you guys set up these beautiful areas, and it's always different. It's never the same. The colors, the style that you put together, it's always so different.
Yeah, I mean, the wedding staff, we have an amazing wedding team, and they do it, all like a la carte for each of our brides and grooms. All the
It's the most important day of their lives.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I'm amazed. We manage up to 200 weddings yearly.
200.
200, yeah.
200.
So, and we're
I would be crying all the time.
And we're starting the high season. April, May, June and November. I would say those are the most important seasons for weddings. So,
what's the most number of weddings you've done in one day?
In one day, 2. We don't manage more than.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can have several events. The ceremony, the dinner, maybe and a cocktail, but no more than.
No more than 2.
No more than.
All right, so book your wedding early.
Yeah.
Or renewing of the vows and all of that.
We do for honeymoons, vows renewal. We have we can go from really small ceremonies, which just maybe 4 people, or 6 people, which would be the couple and the parents, maybe kids sometimes, to 80 people weddings.
Wow.
So that would depend on what you need. But
That's what I want. I've decided. I told my daughters, I've got 2. I said, you're getting married in Mexico.
Going destination wedding.
Yes.
Have you been in Argasibo?
Oh, yeah.
We have the most amazing scenario for weddings.
Yeah, we had one yesterday, yes? I think there was one yesterday. Yeah. So that was beautiful. So for any of our listeners thinking of coming down to Dreams Puerto Aventuras, what would you like to say to them?
Now you say it perfectly. you were talking about that before. You say it just perfectly. What I would say, that this is such a charming resort. This is a small resort that, in my opinion, says families all around. We are completely all into families and couples. We have the most kind people that would host you here,
Yes.
And the location is beautiful. Not just about our resort, but all the surroundings. You will find we have our dolphins in the property. The surroundings, Puerto Aventuras, happens to be a gated private community, as you may see. So you can drive a golf cart. You can just take a bike. We have bikes available for you, and go and see the surroundings. So we are in the middle of. Pretty much in the middle from Playa del Carmen to Tulum. So you're going to be with a wonderful location. We are really near to the most important park attractions. And in the hotel, again, you're going to find amazing food. You're going to find amazing people. I would always go back to the people because that's the best asset any company could have, and we have the best. And this is such a cozy and charming property. It's close. Everything is close. From one place to the other. So it's a great place to be at the Mayan Riviera, which is paradise itself. I don't have to say
it is paradise.
It is absolutely. True. And if you're into going out for all those excursions, where we are located, it is super close to get to. When we were at the Dream Sands in Cancun, it was almost an hour in the for transportation, but here within 20 minutes you're at all the different locations. So it's a perfect place if you're going to do excursions. Yeah,
it's 20 minutes to Playa del Carmen, less than 15 minutes to the parks. Okay. To Tulum. It's 20-30 minutes over, and a great spot to be.
It is.
Wow.
It is
and the resort is.
And then the resort has everything you'd ever need as well. Even if you choose to not go anywhere, to stay here, they take really good care of you all day long. Entertainment, excursions right here from the hotel. I got to go scuba diving yesterday for the first time in my life ever.
Okay.
I was a scaredy cat, but I did it.
And how was it?
It was fun. It was very fun.
It's amazing. For me, it's magic. When you're down there, it's completely different world, so many colors, so many life. It gives you like a different point of view.
Absolutely.
Another thing that I would like to say is that if, as you just mentioned, if you just want to stay at the hotel and relax here, you're gonna have everything we need.
Everything.
You know, we have 5 a la carte restaurants for dinner, plus our buffet that it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have our barefoot with the brick oven pizzas, grill burgers, 24 hours room service. So we have 305 rooms available for you in different categories of whichever view you want to have. If you want to see the dolphins, if you want to see the pool, if you want to see the ocean, we have different kind of views.
Terry, it was beautiful. Thank you so very much.
No, it was a pleasure for me to be
Thank
here.
you.
I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm really thankful that you are giving us this time.
Oh, we love it.
So
Thank you.
We'll see you
love to
next
have
year.
here. Please,
Okay.
please do so. We will be waiting for you.
I love that. I love
Okay.
that. Gracias.
All right.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Excelente día. Bye.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. As we get ready to wrap this up,
Oh, look,
Our-
nobody put what they are fighting their fear for. So I think I should win the
You think you should win the hat?
right? I went scuba diving.
well, I'll tell you what, our friends over at Nyland's Collision, nylandscollision.com, have offered to give a prize away every single day. And today's prize is a baseball cap with the Dreams Puerto Aventuras logo on it. If you would like that, and if you want to step out of your comfort zone, that's what the whole theme of today was.
Being fearless.
That's right. Just put down what thing you're working on to step beyond your comfort zone. What's the thing that you are working through today? It doesn't have to be super uber personal, but
It could just be, think about in the 5 categories, the 5 areas.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in finance. Maybe it's in your faith, your spiritual walk. Maybe it's with your friends and family, relationships. Maybe it's in your fitness and health. You want to get a little bit more there. What is my 5th one? Fun.
I don't know. But
Finances, fitness, family. Anyways, there's 5. Like, just, you can be generic about it. You don't have to dig really deep and get real personal, because we know this is a live piece.
It's Phil.
Oh, Phil,
It's
getting
Phil.
married for the 2nd time. That wasn't so scary, was it?
Oh my
He's
goodness.
like, she had to twist my arm.
Faith and Spirit comes through by Robert. Robert, thanks so much for watching and participating. I don't know if Phil's qualified, but maybe both of you guys get a hat.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Thank you so much for playing, for participating, for hanging out with us. So tomorrow is our travel day.
Yep.
So we don't leave early, but it is our last morning on the beach. So this is going to be our last broadcast from Dreams Puerto Aventuras. We just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for hanging out with us, for being encouraged and motivated, for always supporting the Experience Pros radio show. One of the best things that you guys can do, that we can all do for each other, is grow this network.
That's right.
So help us to grow the network. Share this podcast, share our free 30-day trial with somebody that you know would benefit from it, that you would love to have part of the network as your accountability, as a referral partner.
We're going to take great care of them. Just like Angel's scuba diver instructor took great care of her. We won't let anything bad happen.
Right? So there's a free trial. And you have to know, and Phil mentioned this too, it's not always everything we try and step into is going to be the result that we were looking for. Sometimes we have to repeat it and do it again, or learn a lesson, or build up some character, and that's part of the journey.
That's right.
So don't be afraid of that either. My first time down in that swimming pool, I did not succeed. And my first time trying to go scuba diving down, I did not succeed. Sometimes there's a piece that we have to work through, and it's not always going to be easy, but it will always be worth it.
There you go. All right, so live from Dreams Puerto Aventuras, Angel and Eric saying thank you for watching. Dude, find somebody today, one person, a business owner or somebody that you know in business, and invite them. Take a step out of your comfort zone and invite them to our program, experiencepros.com. Have them click on the free trial, and we'll take it from there. Have a great day.